Okay, let's dive into this. Because honestly, if you're watching this explainer right now, odds are your brain literally has about 30 tabs open. Your phone's buzzing and you're just running on fumes. I mean, we are living in the middle of a massive modern burnout epidemic. Everywhere you look, people are just absolutely exhausted. We're overstimulated, constantly plugged in, and our bodies are practically screaming for a break. We've been conditioned to think about rest as this luxury, or maybe even worse, as a sign of weakness. But today, we're going to completely dismantle that idea by looking at the hard science of what happens when we actually just stop.
Scientific rest. So what does that even mean? Well, look, when your brain is totally dopamine fried from nonstop notifications and emails flashing in front of your eyes every 5 seconds, you can't just chill out. It just doesn't work. We need to start treating rest, not as laziness, definitely not as just a weekend treat, but as a clinical biological necessity. We've got to completely rewire how we view relaxation. We literally need an intervention that works on a biological level to pull us out of the chaos.
Section 1. Stuck in survival mode, the modern trap.
Because right now, we are stuck. We are collectively stuck in survival mode. The corporate world, the modern economy, social media, it all actively rewards burnout. We're incentivized to push harder, stay up way too late, and, answer that email at midnight. And our nervous systems, they're paying a massive, heavy price. Constant deadlines, the artificial blue glare of your screens overloading your optic nerves. Endless caffeine loops just to stay upright, late-night doom scrolling, the incessant overthinking. And I want you to understand something absolutely crucial right now. Your body cannot tell the difference between these modern stressors and a literal physical threat. Your biology treats a passive-aggressive email from your boss exactly like it treats a predator out in the wild. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing gets super shallow, and you are locked into this constant state of fight or flight all day long.
And yet somehow we've normalized it. You wear busy like a badge of honor. Oh, you know who you are. The skeptical, exhausted professional who brags about only getting 4 hours of sleep, who eats lunch standing up, who hasn't taken a real day completely offline in months. If you're watching this right now and feeling a little called out, good. You need to hear this, because that badge of honor is actually a giant flashing warning sign that your body systems are redlining.
To understand why this is so dangerous, we have to look at the nervous system split. Over on the left side, we've got the sympathetic state. This is your survival mode. It's fight or flight. It's absolute chaos. And sadly, it's where most of us live our entire adult lives. But on the right side, we have the parasympathetic state. Now, this is where the magic happens. This is the state of rest, cellular repair, digestion, and deep emotional processing. The problem, we get trapped on the left side. We are so overstimulated that our bodies literally forget how to cross over to the right. We desperately need a way to force our bodies over to that right side, because that is where actual biological healing takes place.
Section 2. The intentional off switch. The shift.
So how do we actually make that shift? We need a way to signal to our biology that the predator is gone, the threat has passed, and it is finally safe to power down. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can functionally frame a practice you might have heard of but maybe never fully understood, and that's Reiki. It's a Japanese relaxation and energy healing practice, but I want you to strip away whatever preconceived notions you might have and just look at the functional definition right here. It functions as guided nervous system rest through gentle, non-invasive hand placements. It's a physical, intentional technique designed to gently shift the body out of that high-alert, sympathetic state and guide it right back to baseline.
And I want to be crystal clear here, especially for the skeptics in the audience, because honestly, you should be skeptical of quick fixes. This is not mysticism. There's no religion involved here. There is absolutely no blind belief required for this to work. You don't have to, believe in the parasympathetic nervous system for it to engage. This practice acts as a mechanical, intentional off switch for your sympathetic nervous system. It is literally a biohack for profound relaxation.
Section 3. The biophysics of peace, the science.
If you love data as much as I do, this is where the explainer gets truly fascinating. What is actually measurably happening inside the human body when it's given this type of guided nervous system rest? Well, when we look at clinical biomarkers post-Reiki session, peer-reviewed autonomic nervous system research is catching up to the practice, and the data is just striking. We aren't just talking about people reporting they feel nice. We're seeing measurable clinical drops. Heart rate, reductions observed. Cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone that just wreaks havoc on your body when it's elevated, it actively drops. Blood pressure shows measurable reductions. And vagal activity, which essentially controls your body's relaxation response, well, it shows distinct changes indicating significant stress reduction. Guys, this is the body physically shifting out of survival mode.
So the crucial point is this. It is not magic, it's biophysics. When you provide the body with a safe, quiet environment and a gentle, grounding physical presence, you are actively altering your stress markers. You're manipulating your biology in the best possible way. You're using a structured practice to force the nervous system into the parasympathetic state, allowing your cells to finally do the repair work they've been neglecting while you were, well, busy answering emails.
Section 4. Complementary nervous system support. The integration.
Understanding the science allows us to integrate this beautifully into our modern lives, because it's not about running away to a mountain and ignoring all your responsibilities. And let's make sure we contextualize the role of Reiki properly here. On the left, we clearly see what it is not. It is not a replacement for modern medical care or medicine. Obviously, if you're sick, you go to a doctor. But on the right, we see its true power. It is a complementary wellness practice. It's a tool for relaxation, emotional balance, and nervous system regulation. Because here is the undeniable truth. A regulated nervous system simply helps the entire body function better. Your medicine works better, sleep works better, digestion works better, all because your body isn't fighting an imaginary predator.
And the result of that biological regulation? It manifests as a profound shift in your post-session emotional state. People consistently describe feeling lighter. They feel calmer. They report being emotionally clearer, finally able to process thoughts without that frantic static of anxiety playing in the background. They feel deeply rested. For someone who is practically addicted to stress, someone who hasn't felt their shoulders drop away from their ears in a decade, this shift can feel entirely revolutionary. It's literally the feeling of your biology finally taking a breath.
And I think this brilliantly illustrates the core philosophy of this whole explainer. Sometimes healing begins with teaching the body that it is safe again. What a beautiful, incredibly grounding reality. In a world that is completely addicted to stress, in an environment that constantly tells your brain you are in absolute danger, this intentional pause, this scientific rest, is exactly what your body has been begging for. You literally have to reteach your nervous system that it is actually allowed to rest.
Which leaves us with one final, incredibly important question for you today. Are you ready to take your nervous system off high alert? Are you ready to trade that badge of busy for the biophysics of peace? Because the science is there, the biological necessity is crystal clear, and the off switch is just waiting. It's time to let your body heal. So what step will you take today to finally flip that switch and start your own clinical rest practice?